Hi there, Malcolm here for my 401st Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you my March wrap-up for 2026, or the books I read in March. So first up, the numbers game. I shall compare March 2026 against March 2025. So I managed to complete 15 titles, which is 2 more than the 13 I managed the last March, totaling 3,411 pages, which is 864 pages more than last March, and 23.15 hours, which is 3.53 hours more than last March. So lots of improvements there. So what's my running total look like? So in the first 3 months of the year, I've completed 44 titles, which is 11 more than the 33 I managed at the end of March last year, totaling 10,356 pages, which is a whopping 3,194 pages more than last year, and 65.23 hours, which is 4.9 hours less than last year. I've closed the gap a bit, but still room for improvement. So of the 15 titles I finished in March, I can say that 7 were novels, 7 were graphic novels, and 1 was a short story collection. So quite even this time on the novel versus graphic novel front. I could also say that 4 were standalone books, and 11 were part of a series. There were no rereads. 1 I read aloud to my wife, and 1 I listened to on Audible, and 2 tomes of over 500 pages. So with that out of the way, I'll now wave the 15 titles at you, just say what they are and their score. But I will leave a link to all my individual reviews for the following 15 titles in the description box down below, so be sure to go and check out the ones that interest you. Let's get cracking. So first up is Love Will Tear Us Apart by C.K. McDonald. This is book 3 of the Stranger Times series. Really enjoyed it, booktastic. And after that, I then read Invincible Volume 3 by Robert Kirkman. Also booktastic, loving this series so far. And after that, I then read, or finished listening to The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Dinnerman. This is book 5 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I listened to it on Audible, read to me by the amazing Jeff Hayes. Booktastic, best one so far of the series. Really enjoyed the series though. And after that, I then read True, book 8, Family Recipes by John Layman. Another fantastic series that I really enjoy. Booktastic. And after that, I then read March's Book of the Month, which was The Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky, and was the last of Adrian Tchaikovsky's science fiction books that is available to read. At the time of filming, I've read all of Adrian Tchaikovsky's science fiction novels. And this one is okay. I suppose worth reading. It's mostly boring though. But after that, I then read Reliquary by Lincoln Child and Douglas Preston. This is book 2 of their Pendergast series, and the follow-up to the fantastic The Relic. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was as good as The Relic, but still a worthwhile conclusion, worth buying. And after that, I then read Invincible Volume 4 by Robert Kirkman, another worthy addition to the fantastic series, booktastic. And after that, I then read 13 Tales of Terror, a point horror short story collection. Some were okay, most were a bit meh, and a few were just downright awful. Worth reading overall though, although on a reread I would probably only read 2 or 3 at most of these stories. They're worth reading, the rest are just better left. And after that, I then read Commander Nova's Pop-Up Alien Space Station. There's a fantastic pop-up element to this. The story itself was rather short and a bit basic, but not bad in its own right. But the pop-up construction is absolutely amazing. So I would say booktastic for the pop-up element, a generous worth reading for the story element. But there you go. And after that, I then read Marvel Select Spider-Man Noir Twilight in Babylon. I believe this came out in the second month of 2026. Worth buying. Got a little bit weird towards the end, but apart from that, a good solid story. And after that, I then read Star Trek Lower Decks Warp Your Own Way by Ryan North. This is a choose your own adventure. It's absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend it. Booktastic. And after that, I then read Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinnerman to my wife. Standalone story by the author of Dungeon Crawler Carl, but not nearly as fun, but still booktastic. And after that, I then read Twig by Scotty Young, with amazing art by Carl Stram. Amazing fantasy adventure story. Highly recommend this. Booktastic. And after that, I then read Marvel Select Daredevil Mayor Murdoch. Thankfully, we finally got the concluding part to Mayor Fisk. And it's worth buying, even though it does get a bit weird toward the end. And finally, I also read End of Empires by Toby Frost. This is book 5 of the Chronicles of Isambard Smith series. Wacky British space adventure stories. Really enjoyed it. Worth buying. So there you go, that's the 15 titles I managed in the month of March. And like I said, I have done an individual video for each and every single one of those. So find a link to it in the description box down below for the ones that interested you. Other than that, feel free to share your reading in March. Either there's a link or a list in the comment section down below. But as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe and other YouTube things if you want. And until next time, see you later.